Good evening, everyone. Praise the Lord. Brother John, would you mind closing those back doors for me? Thank you, sir. Welcome. We are about to begin our spring sessions of family weekends, and 3 of them, one in the month of March, which is this weekend, one in April, and also one in May. You already have the April one, and for those of you that are inquisitive, you can go to the online calendar and also find the one that's in May as well. And if you want to push forward, you can also find the 2 that are in the fall. They are online as well. The exact date slipped my mind, but if you go into fall, you can find the dates there. And why don't we invite the Lord into our class tonight, into our weekend, and ask that His anointing would be upon us and that we could learn and continue to grow. Can you join together with me in doing that? Why don't we all stand and invite Him in together? Let's kind of set aside all of the week and everything, and let's invite Him into our class tonight. Can we do it together? Jesus, I love You tonight. God, You're an awesome God, and I worship You and I praise You. Thank You, Lord, for this night, Lord. Thank You, Lord, for what we're about to learn and grow in You, Lord. God, I invite Your presence and Your anointing into this place. God, let everything be done decently and in order and pleasing with You. God, under Your guidance and Your direction. God, help us to lay aside our cares, God, our worries, that we can focus tonight and give You the undivided attention that You can do work within our lives, within our families, within our relationships. God, I worship You and I praise You, and I thank You, Lord, for this day that You've given us. In Jesus' name, amen, amen. You may be seated. Let me give you 2 overviews very, very quickly. I want to get out of the way. Janet's going to start with us tonight. But I want to give you 2 overviews so that you know what we're doing in the spring, in these 3 family weekends, what we're going to try to get through and deal with within these next 3 weekends. March, April, and May, and then also give you an overview of what we're doing in this weekend. All right, so it's kind of a game plan of how we're going to structure it. Where we have come so far in our family weekends, beyond Mark Gungor and his introduction, if you will, to a lot of topics, and in a humorous manner, is we have looked at ourselves as individuals, who we are as human beings, who we are as gendered human beings. And then we have worked through how then, from that position of uniqueness, men are men, women are women, you're unique as a person, but you're also unique as a gendered person. Men aren't like women, women aren't like men. We share things in common, but we also have uniquenesses. And that's a good thing. That's how God made us. At the same time, we're also broken, so those uniquenesses get played into and get taken advantage of within that broken state. And so we've looked at being a healthy person, an individual, as a gendered person, as a male, as a female, and then how then you begin to relate to people in general, and then in particular, how do you relate to the opposite sex within a marriage relationship. And so we've done a lot of things, and I'm not going to run you through the review of that. As I've mentioned to all of you in church, you can get all of that now pulled out from our regular set. You can go to our website and find all of those in sequential order. So I refer you to there. Where next we need to go is that, in my mind, and in the overview of what we're trying to progress forward through, is that we're in the marriage relationship, and we're in a broader sense, relationships with others. One of the key components of success in any kind of relationship, and obviously this applies then in the particular relationship of marriage, is communication. It is the mechanism whereby you deal with the challenges of life. If you have been approaching life that if you just get smart enough and you learn enough, you can live a life with no challenges, I have bad news for you. That's not going to happen. Because we do live in a broken world, and we do face challenges. And so what it means is in any relationship, in relating to anyone other than yourself, in fact, I'd say you even face challenges inside of yourself. But in relating to others, and in particular then within a marriage relationship, in relating to a spouse, you face challenges. And communication is one of those things that happens, but it's one of those things that you can harness to your advantage, to the advantage of the relationship. And it's the mechanism whereby you're able to work through challenges, through problems, and succeed. And so Janet and I are going to take the 4-part that I have already advanced to you with regard to individuals. We're going to take that 4-part category of spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. And we're going to use that as kind of a guiding post of moving through and working through communication. So thinking about communication through the lenses of spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, all of which are aspects or ways to think about communication. And so our goal for the spring is to get through all 4 of those aspects and to deal with communication. So all of spring is going to be dealing with, if you want to think of it as a subunit, then you can think of it that way, and hopefully we succeed. We'll see. We'll adapt and see whether we can get it all packed in. Now, this weekend is going to be focused on spiritual and start into mental. Okay? Is there any great significance to that order? No. Just my sis and I decided that was the order we thought would work best. And so that's kind of how we're starting out. We're starting out trying to look at spiritual and then also move into mental. And probably it will overlap. The mental part will start to overlap. And all of them overlap with one another. So you'll have to give us some liberty to move back and forth a little bit. Now, tonight, Janet is going to take both 2 hours and is going to start with a broad introduction to deal with communication in general. So before we even launch into trying to deal with it in the aspects of spiritual and the aspects of mental and then extending on, we're going to lay a foundation. She's going to lay a foundation from human behavior and from a lot of the things that she has talent, research, and background that I'd have to work really hard to get, and she probably worked hard to get it, but she's been working really hard to get it for a lot of years, so it's not as hard to pull it together for tonight. To introduce us to communication, and as you can already see, communication more than just words, but communication in all of its aspects. And I think this will serve as a good foundation then as we move into spiritual communication or communication that is spiritually based. When we move into communication that is mental, when we move into communication that is emotional, when we move into communication that is physical, okay? Now, our intent is to culminate in these 3 sessions through March, April, and May, is to culminate, and we'll give you warning, and we really need to get through these two nights, Friday and Saturday, before we tell you when. But we are going to work with you as families that when we deal with the physical, we are going to deal with that in a manner where we're going to provide you the opportunity that if your kids are too young, that you do not want them or do not feel it's appropriate for them to be dealt with in that area, that we will have an alternative. So you're able to come, they will be able to go probably over in the fellowship hall and have an activity so that Janet and I can kind of pull off the gloves, if you will, and deal with us as adults. I would highly recommend that you consider your young people being involved in it. Okay? Now, where's that line? Each of you as parents have to decide that. All right? I can tell you flat out that my 2 oldest boys will be here. Okay? Now, that's my line. That's not your line. That's my line. But you can take that as a marker of where I'm at, where my family is, and where I want to deal with this with them and understanding all aspects of communication. But again, we'll give you more information about that as we get closer to it so you'll know when that is and what sessions those are. All right? So does everybody kind of know where we're going? See the overview? All right. I'm going to get out of the way and turn it over to my sister. By the way, it's good to have her here, and she did a great job Wednesday night. If you weren't able to listen to it, I heard very positive responses, and go online. That's why it's there.
Praise the Lord. It's good to be back. All right, we're going to start tonight. We're doing an exercise, and I'm going to have 10 volunteers. The volunteers I would like them to be 16 and older. I'm telling you that right now, and I'm going to describe what you're doing, because if you don't volunteer, I only know a handful of people in here, and I will call on you if I don't get volunteers. So, It's like, do I know? And see, I'm bad with names, and so it's just, whatever names I can come up with. So think about it. The only thing you have to do is come up here and say a sentence. One. And I tell you what the sentence is, and I tell you how to say it. That's all you have to do. Okay? Any questions on that? I'll give you a piece of paper. You have to say a sentence. So you just say, I'd rather you don't read it, but you can read it if you need to. It's just a sentence. So I don't think you have to be a Bible quizzer to memorize one sentence. But if you need to look at it, you can. Okay, so do I have 10 volunteers? Come on, Nick. You're doing okay back there, aren't you? Come on, people. 10 volunteers. I want you to come up here. Come right up here. 10 volunteers. Corey, that was good because I remembered your name. Okay, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, come on up. All right, now you can come over here and sit down. Go ahead, have a seat. Because you don't have to stand up here while the other person's reading their sentence. And I'm going to give you your sentence and give you a second. Just don't talk to each other. Here you go. Okay, so that we're going to give them just a minute to read their sentence, okay? It's just a direct sentence, and then they have to come up here and say it in that way. You guys have any questions? Okay, who wants to go first? You're going first? Here you go. You're number one. You always. Here's your sentence. You need the mic?
Maybe not.
Okay, well, do it in the mic.
Oh.
Okay, and wait, you guys, this is your task, okay? What you have to do is say, how is she doing it? Okay?
Insulted, offended.
No.
No? Not that?
Okay, don't tell them how you're doing it because they got to guess that part. Did anybody hear her? Okay, they didn't catch you. You have to say it that way. Say this sentence.
Oh,
okay, got it? Say it the way that it says it on the top. You got it? Okay.
Well, we all need to gather our possession and move to another building as soon as possible.
Wait a minute. What's the feeling? Nope. Okay, do it again. Come on, do it stronger.
Yeah.
I know you can do this. Just do it.
Okay.
Just do it.
We all... Should I add anything in there, or you just read as what I have? Just read it.
You can
I can
change
add
it if you need to.
to.
Yes, you can add lib.
Well, I think we have to just gather our position and move to another building as soon as possible.
Disgusting. There, yay. Okay. Next person, stay up here. Anybody, who's next? Come on, jump up. You're all doing it. So come on. Read in the mic because they want it in the mic so they can hear. Okay. That's right. Hard to do it, not laughing.
It is. We need to get our stuff and get out of this building now. We got to go. We got to get out of here. Get your stuff. Come on, let's go.
And I don't know what you have. Are they on there?
quickly. Get your stuff. Get all your stuff. We got to get out of here now. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Got it. Okay, give him a hand. Come on. Who's next? Our Sister D's coming? Nope. Big guy's coming. Here we go.
Hey, look, we all need to get all our possessions and move to the next building as soon as possible. Right now.
I don't know what you have. So let me see. Okay. Come on, you can do that.
Okay. That's real decent. We all need to gather our possessions and move to another building as soon as possible. Come on out. Hey, look, we all need to gather all our possessions and move to the next building as soon as possible.
Let me try one time. Let me try it one time. I'm doing it for him, okay? We all, brother and sister, we need to gather our possessions and move to another building as soon as possible, amen? Yeah. See, I told you he had it in him. All right, take this. All right.
Dad had to save me. Come on.
Okay.
We all need to gather our possessions and move to another building as soon as possible, brothers and sisters. Yeah. Trying the best way I can. We all need to gather our possessions and move to another building as soon as possible. We all need to gather. We all need to gather our possessions as soon as possible.
How about this? Paranoid. Take that. Paranoid. Come on up.
We all need to get out of here and get our possessions out of here as soon as possible. Oh, my God. Here.
Were you nervous? She was nervous. That was good. Come on up. Yeah. Come here. All right. So you know what you're doing there? Here's your mic. Okay. Put it that way.
We all need to get out of here as soon as possible and to move it to another building.
Do it this way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Do it again. Do it like that. Yeah, that's it.
We all need to get out of here and go in the other building as soon as possible.
Happy. You guys got it. Sister Karen got it. Okay, who's next? Well, you can do that one, right?
We all need to gather our possessions and move to another building as soon as possible.
That was it. Sad.
We all need to gather our possessions and move to another building right now.
Angry, of course. All right, Sister D.
read this one.
We all need to gather our possessions and move to another building as soon as possible.
Very good. Okay, that means I know what Corey has. Can you do this one?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay. All right, we all need to gather our possessions and go to the next building as soon as possible. All right, let's go. Get up. Get off your butts. Let's go. What are you, lazy? Come on. I said let's go. Let's go. Second.
All right, that was good. Okay, I want y'all to come up here. Come up here for a minute. Line up right across the front here. Keep coming. And then I'll let you sit down. Okay, just stand up there. All right. Now the thing that was on your card, you know, the way you're supposed to do it, display that right now. Use your face, use your body. Don't say anything. Don't say anything, just show it. Use your body, use your face. Becky's doing it. Kenny's doing it. Karen's doing it. Okay. All right. So when you look at, go ahead, you guys can sit down. When you see these people, like I said, use your face, use your body. We send a whole lot of messages that way, don't we? All right. So I got this out of Focus on the Family, and it was anonymous. So it was like someone said, okay? And they even said that in there. But it said, communication is to love as blood is to the body. Take the blood of the body and it dies. Take communication away and a relationship dies. We have to have communication. It doesn't matter if it's husband, wife, parent, child, parent, spouse, or co-workers, anything. Okay, we have to have the communication. If we take the communication away, the relationship does die. You can watch people that have kids, and they raise those kids, and then the kids are gone, and they go out to eat, and they're sitting there, and one's texting and one's reading. Okay? We need to have that communication. And sometimes that can be kind of difficult, because we already discussed a whole lot, and you've heard a whole lot in the last year and a half about how different males and females are. So when we're talking communication, it can be difficult. So it might not be an easy thing, but we got to look at it and become aware of it, and be aware of a lot of things that we're doing. So when we look at communication, this is a pretty standard division of it. It is that your body language is 55% of communication. How you speak is 38%. Sarah told me not to mention her tonight, so I won't mention Sarah. But I had a child once that I would have to say to, it's not what you're saying. It is how you say it, okay? It's so much of it's how you speak, not what you're saying. Because you can go, what did I say wrong? You didn't say anything wrong. It's how you said it. So it's a lot of times it is people, getting offended because of how it's said. I was just telling Dad today, I have this couple. She is born and raised in Texas, 30 years old. He's 36. They're having a lot of problems. He was born and raised in Boston. They're having some real communication problems. And it has a lot to do with how it's said and that body language, because it's different. Our culture so much determines these things. And then 7% of communication is the words we use. Okay, so it's good to attend to all of it. And I wanted you aware, I asked him, let me just introduce some stuff, because this is, when we're talking in the different areas, it's all of this. It's not just words. It's all of it together. So we might emphasize more words at times, or we might get on other parts, but it's all of this is together, because that's communication. So we have to look at that. I have some pictures for you. Tell me what's communicated. Okay? What else? Rebellion, a wail, There's a little bit more, and you guys are being kind, not saying it, aren't you? Okay. Okay, how about here? Is it a little bit of a different message than this? Okay, it's what's being communicated. Okay, how about here? How about here? Right? There's different, we communicate through our clothing, through our stance, through, what we put on our heads to what we put on our feet. So we look here. Again, there's the stance, there's the dress, there's the hairstyle. It can even come down to the types of glasses we wear. We communicate so much through all this stuff. Right here. Now, some of you might have a problem with that bottom picture. I don't. I wasn't raised in Texas, but I don't. But some of you might have a problem with that guy wearing that white hat and the other guy wearing the black hat. But a lot of times we even, associate, the good guy wears the white hat and the bad guy wears the black hat. But I think the guy in the top picture is going more for that gangster look, right? Or that, the tough guy. Okay. How about here? What's communicated? How about this? How about this? Okay, women often use their hips. We use our hips to communicate a whole lot of stuff, okay? It can be good and it can be bad, right? But those hands going on those hips and then how we twist our bodies, we communicate a whole lot of stuff. It's a whole lot of different messages. And then this picture with these hands on the hips, right? It's just a different message. So what do we do with it? We need to be aware of it. If you're standing there talking to someone and you're standing like this, okay? Because we have... Will you come help me a minute? Come here. Hold this mic. Okay, because they want me to talk in the mic. So keep the mic right at my mouth. Okay, keep it in my mouth. I'm going to let go.
Hello.
Okay, keep it at my mouth. Keep it at my mouth. Keep it at my mouth. Hold it right here. Okay, so a lot of times, like females, what we do is we close in. We do this. We're like, I'm smaller than what I am. This sends a lot different message than this. As we get bigger, thank you, honey. Just like the animal world. When we puff up, it's like, you best not mess with me. But when we do this, it's a different message. We pull it in, okay? And women in business, they're learning that we don't cower, we don't do, because some of these female stances indicate submission, and those aren't bad, but in the business world, it doesn't go over so well. Okay, so, standing, putting our hands on our hips and stuff. Same religion, different message. How about here? If you're going to wear things that high, what message do they send? They hurt your feet. That's right. Okay? But if you're going to wear them that high, does it make a difference in what we pick out? Well, how about here, guys? Does this make a difference? Whether they're laced up, not laced up, same color, different colors, simple. How about here, hairstyles? Does it send a different message? What's being communicated? Who do you want to date your teenager? Who do you think might be supplying them with drugs? If you didn't actually know these people, okay? I pick off, pictures off the internet because they're easy to do. So you might know who they are, and then you might go, oh, no, there's no way, because But it's like there are images that are portrayed. And it means, okay, am I going to trust you? Am I not going to trust you? My sister had a guy start at her hospital, and she did hire him. But she said, you know what? If we have a problem with clients dealing with you with their animals, we'll try it, but we'll see if it works out. Because he was covered like head to toe in tattoos. And if people coming in, veterinarian hospital, if they have problems dealing with him, if they're, there seems to be an issue, they'll let him go. I had a guy in class when I was teaching him. At Michigan State, I taught an intro class for prospective teachers. And there was a young man, and he'd stay after class. I don't remember if he was a freshman or a sophomore, but he'd stay after class and talk to me often. And he was going after his dad for 18 years of child support and different things. His mom never got it. But he'd just talk about a lot of different things. And he really wanted to teach. And I said to him, you're going to have to look at how you're dressing. He was already trying to do the great big ears. He came in with all the chains, lots of stuff hanging from everywhere. I don't know, but it's like, if you really want to get hired, he wanted to teach like elementary school. I got to feel safe with you teaching my child. And so you're going to want to attend to that. And we talked, and it was, we had a good relationship. It was so funny. He came in the next week, and I had to do a double take. I wouldn't have known it was the same guy. He had cut his hair, did it different. I mean, he looked like Corey, It just was like, whoa. Well, he hadn't gotten there yet. He was working on it, but you could tell he was like increasing the size. But yeah, it's like, wow. And so we do. We send a different image in what we wear and how we wear it and where we wear it and all that. So we want to be attentive to this. We want to know what we're saying. What message are we sending? Now, I heard when I got into church, it came across to me, and I am like, what? And I don't believe this now. I don't think it still holds true. Sometimes it's just where we're at in society that some things are true. Kind of like the whole beard thing, right? It used to be beards were a sign of rebellion and the whole Castro thing and all that. So, but I was told, well, Christian women don't wear red shoes. And I was like, what? And red's my favorite color, so I wear red everything, I'm like, what? What? So luckily that's adjusted, because I don't know if I have red shoes right now, but back then I did, And so sometimes it's just it's societally based, and so we have to know that. When I had teenage quizzers, guys, and it was a senior team, I didn't let them walk in with their hats on backwards. It's like, no. Take it off or wear it forwards. We're not walking in the church with you with a hat on backwards. I don't know if that still carries the same message as it did 20 years ago. But so we have to be sensitive of what's going on at the time. What are we saying? Because it's all about the whole communication. Okay. What's this mean? It means one, excuse me, this God's my witness, or it can mean no to children. Okay? How about this? Okay? In Britain, Australia, New Zealand, Malta, it means a vulgar expression. In the USA, it means two and peace. In Germany, it means victory. In France, it means peace. And in ancient Rome, it meant Julius Caesar was ordering 5 beers. How about this? Okay. In Europe, it means 3. In Catholic countries, it means a blessing. Okay. How about this? It means I love you. How about this? In Europe and North America, it means okay, agreement of sentiment. Mediterranean area, Russia, Brazil, Turkey, it means an orifice, signal, sexual insult, or gay man. In Tunisia, France, Belgium, it means 0, worthless. In Japan, it means money or coins. I heard a story, and I was trying to think who told me the story, but it was something with his wife. They were in a different country in Europe. And the bellman or something said something to her, and she went, okay. And he said again, okay. And he's just, because because she's doing a vulgar expression to them. It's that whole thing. So we want to know what we're saying. How about here? Okay. In Europe, it means one, hitchhike, good. Okay. Australia, vulgar insult. In Greece, it's a vulgar insult. In Japan, it means man or five. And according to Joel Schwarzer, a linguistic anthropologist, using the thumbs up gesture anywhere in the Americas, excluding the United States, is a horrible idea. Are we becoming or multicultural? Okay? Are we looking at this? We want to be aware of different things. We're talking about communication. We want to know what different things mean. And if you notice that someone goes, you might go, okay, what did that mean to you? We want to think about things. And I'm doing some of this is just kind of for fun to think about. All right, how about this? Nobody here is from Texas. It means hook 'em horns, okay? Does it mean anything else? Okay, in Mediterranean, it means your wife is being unfaithful. In Malta and Italy, it means protection against the evil eye. In South America, it means protection against bad luck. In the USA, for Texas, it's the Longhorns. Okay? How about this? What if we did both hands? Okay. So in the West, it means 10, I surrender. In Greece, it's a very vulgar expression twice. And in widespread, it's I'm telling the truth. Telling the truth. Trust me. It means different things, different places, though. All right, so we're looking at intercultural communication. We want to be aware of, as we have more and more people coming into our churches that are from different countries, we want to be aware of different things. We want to be sensitive to all that. And then you can, if you're dealing with some of the marriages, it's like, okay, what's the communication going on here? So let's look at some of this stuff. Eye contact. United States, it's respectful. Okay, we stand about this close. Okay, usually an arm's length. However, in Africa, African American men, Chinese women, and Native Americans, it can be disrespect or aggression to have the eye contact. I'm sorry, I said close, but yes, maintain eye contact. Okay, I'm on the next slide. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. I'm glad you said that. Okay, saying that close. I know when I was in the 5th grade, and we moved to Lansing, and I moved from Cumberland, Maryland. You would think that I had a really mixed school, but I didn't. It was primarily white. And we moved to Lansing, and there was busing going on. And there was these young ladies that were of a different skin tone than me. And I looked like this at them. And they said, "What are you looking at?" I said, "Nothing." Those 5 ladies proceeded to beat me up. So sometimes, it is an insult. It's seen as aggressive. And we need to be aware of that because we don't need to pick fights. We don't need to do some of that stuff, right? And so we want to know when it's disrespectful or aggressive. As far as hand gestures, a lot of people speak with their hands, me included. And for some people, it's insultive, okay? It's considered odd or offensive. Another rude hand gesture in Greece is waving like this, okay? They wave like this. They don't wave, okay? Because it's offensive. All right. So again, when pointing to something, many Americans use your index finger. This is offensive to people from the Middle East. The way Asians point to things is by using their palm or their thumb. Okay? And a lot of Latin Americans, they do the head thing. Okay? And then when we're looking at shaking hands, okay? It's usually, it's customary in here. I see one lady that is from, where is she from? She's from the Middle East. I think she's from Bangkok. Not Bangkok. I don't remember where she's from. Anyhow, Middle East. But she said one of the biggest problems she has in living in the United States is this whole shaking men's hands. Men put their hands out to her all the time, and she doesn't shake men's hands. They don't do that. And so it's hard. She has to always pretend like she's got stuff in her hands or something because it's just that she doesn't do that. Pakistan. That's where she's from. Okay. Personal space. That's that one. You know, you get everybody in the elevator, and all of a sudden all those buttons come, you know. Everybody's focused on them, you know, because we're all squished, because you're invading my personal space. But that can make a big difference. I had a good friend when I was doing my PhD in my cohort, and she was from Taiwan. Well, and we became friends. We were walking down the hall, and she reached over and took my hand. I don't walk down the hall holding another lady's hand at school. And it caught me off guard. I mean, I know I jerked away. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Did that offend you?" And I said, "No, it's okay. It just took me out, you know, just surprised me. She didn't mean anything by it. It's just they you know, for her, their friends, and it opened the door. We had a lot of discussion about different things, okay, culturally different things. And so over there, you know, girls hold hands all the time when you're friends. Guys can hold hands if they're friends, but it was like, so we have to have their personal space. Okay, so, and it can vary. People like from China, Mediterranean will stand almost touching nose sometimes to talk. It's funny that, you know, my dad was telling me, because we discussed this diverse, you know, greet your brethren with a holy kiss. I'm messing that up. Brethren, greet one another, though, with a holy kiss. Okay, greet all the holy brethren with a holy kiss. Okay, we got it, though. With the holy kiss, okay? And what's that mean? Are you guys supposed to be kissing each other when you come into contact with one another? You brethren? And that's it. In Europe, they do. And he brought up how Brother Bernard has gone some places, and they kiss him right on the lips. They have greeted him. And it's kind of a shock to them. Get off that plane, they come up, "Hi, brother," and kiss you on the lips. Will this shock you a little bit? It might do it, huh? It's a little worse than her taking my hand. Like, I'm walking down the hall. I mean, I was 30-something at that time, but it's just like, so we have to be comfortable sometimes knowing, you know, what's customary, what's being communicated. You know, that's actually, you know, a sign of friendship. Corey, you want to travel, right? All right. With facial expressions, a lot of times we can get in trouble with facial expressions. People might not understand why we made that look. I know I really bothered my husband. I hurt his feelings one Christmas, and I might have mentioned this. It was the Christmas before last. He took my diplomas, and he had them framed. My husband, if he does something, he's going to go all the way. To me, I would have gone to Walmart, bought some frames, took the pictures out, stuck them in, and there. My diplomas are framed. No, not him. He goes and has a guy do it, pays like $200 per degree kind of thing. So at Christmas, he comes out, and I think he has one in each hand. He hands me one. I kind of already knew what it was because I made the suggestion to my daughter to have him do it for me for Christmas. Don't anybody tell him, though, okay? So he comes out, and he has these two in his hands, and he hands one to me. I open it up. Now, I have a bachelor's, I have a master's, I have a PhD, and then I'm licensed. My license is this big, okay, for the wall, as far as being a psychologist. So, I open the first one, I think he has two. It's my bachelor's. Yeah, that's kind of, that confused, I went, I didn't know what to do, like, okay, if you did my bachelor's, what other one did you do? I don't know what you did. And so the look on my face, he goes, what? What did I do wrong now? I said, nothing, honey, nothing. It's great. No, it's just great. And he gave me the next one. Then I realized he had two more. So now my brain's going, okay, well, he did two more. I wonder which two he did. So he did my PhD and he did my license. And I said, well, this is great. I did have him go do my master's then because it just wasn't right to skip it since I had it. So he had to go spend another $160 because it was a smaller one. But, you know, our facial expressions give it away a lot, right? I was sitting there with a client once, and I really work on this, okay? Really work on this face. But she said, I know you don't approve. I saw your eyebrow go up. Okay, I'm sorry. You were talking about orgies, and yes, the eyebrow went up. I can't help it. Sometimes I really work on it, but yes, one eyebrow went up. It came down really quick, but it did go up. So, facial expressions can get us in trouble. Think of that when we're communicating with people. Often we're reading those messages, and sometimes we read them inaccurately. People from Asia will laugh or smile when they're embarrassed. They exhibit a neutral expression when angry, which makes it difficult to know how they're feeling. I've heard this. My brother he taught over in Japan, and he worked over there for a lot of years. But I've heard this from people that travel over to Japan and interact with businessmen. They sit there and they nod yes, and they're doing this and we're talking, and I think they're in agreement. They don't mean that at all. They're being polite. They have no intention of doing what we're talking about, because they're not showing it. They're just, and then they go and do something totally different. So if we don't know how to read it, we can get in trouble. But then that same neutral expression in Native American culture indicates respect for the other person. So if it's a neutral. All right. So with body alignment, we show agreement, interest. We line it up. Salesmen know. You line it up with posture. You do this probably when you counsel people. I do this when I counsel people. You line it up. You sit. You square off with them. You don't turn this way. And we all catch this, because if you turn sideways and you're talking to someone and they're looking over here, you're like, why am I talking to you? You're not interested in what I have to say. You're moving. It can be defensive. So we look at that. How do we stand? And then head tilts, okay? Strong indication of the person's feelings, okay? When you do this, it can be slight. Watch my head. Okay? I only moved it this much. But we are sophisticated enough in here that we read that. And we know there's aggression or contempt there. But you just move it up a little. And the more contempt you get for someone, the higher your head's going to get. Okay? But we're not usually doing this. Looking down my nose at you, okay? We do it slight. And we are good enough that we pick up on it. And we need to be careful of that. Watch what we're doing, but also if they do it. Because we're going to naturally react to that. We want to be aware of how our body reacts. And then we have, if you ever have seen a girl with a daddy. Please, Dad. And wives do this with their husbands too. Honey, yes, what do you want? Okay, what do you want me to do? So we know that, the head tilt. Okay, and when we're engaged in that, we tend to go forward. When I'm with a client and I get intense, I'm sitting there, and I'm sitting back, I have my legs crossed, and I sit there, and then go like this. And then they know. They have my attention. I'm there. They hear what I have to say. They know I'm listening to what they have to say. So we do a lot with our heads. Okay, so you want to know the message you're sending and those that are being sent by others. We know it. They pick up, little tiny babies pick up on it, okay? They're just real young, and they're already starting to read all those nonverbal messages that are coming out of what we're sending. So we know it in here, but we intuitively, we've learned it. It just comes natural, right? So what we want to do is know when it's happening, though, because we don't want to just be impulsive and reactive. And so if someone does that, we can react if we don't think about it. And that's what interferes with communication. Well, did you see? She said that. Do you see how she said that to me? Do you see how she was standing? And now, and I won't get all on the internet stuff, but now it's so hard because it's like, you ever have these people that they write all in caps? Don't you hate that? It's like, why are you yelling at me? But it's like people that have to use lots of exclamation points and okay, learn the use of an exclamation point. But sometimes we're doing all this by texting and email and Twitter and whatever it is. And so we're inferring a whole lot. We have just the word. We no longer have the body and we no longer have the voice. So what we're doing is we're putting it in because we know, oh, if I was saying that, how would I say that? We're reading tone in. We're reading body language into it. We got to be aware of that because we could be totally wrong. I know that happens to me a lot. If I send an email to someone and I get this nasty one back, I'm calling you. Not to tell you off, okay? But to go, okay, what did you think I was saying here? We have to increase that in communication because so many miscommunication happens that way. All right. Do you guys want a break? Huh? Yes, you want a break? Okay. Will you take a break for like 5 minutes? So that means you're back at 22 after? Okay, you're back at 8:30. I can see the clock. I was given 4 minutes. All right, back at 8:30. I can see it. Oh. Yeah. I was just doing it wrong. I can't see it.